guys, I'm here with David from Lucy Dreams. Thank you for joining me today, David.
Hey, pleased to meet you, everybody.
Thank you. Lucy Dreams is a trio of David, Philip, and Lucy. So my first question, who is Lucy?
Lucy is an artificial band member. We were messing around in the studio, the two of us, Phil and me. We have been friends for a long time, making music together. And there was this one night when we were fooling around in the studio, coupling different effects. We started by using analog effects and then eventually chained them up with digital effects. And all of a sudden, this system started to evolve, started to kind of create a life of its own, as it were. And we sent sounds into the system processed those sounds, eventually, like oceans of noise and huge waves of noise were coming out of the speakers. And after a while, like 5 to 10 minutes, we just heard certain patterns, certain melodies in this white noise, in this ocean of noise. So we said, okay, this system apparently has developed a life of its own, and we started digging deeper and played around with the system, adjusting a couple of parameters. And we have been writing music with the system ever since. And that's why we said, okay, this is our artificial band member. This is Lucy. We gave it a name. It also has a voice and also a face.
Oh, wow, that's really awesome. Obviously, Philip can't be with us today. So Lucy, I like that how you referred to her as an AB, the artificial band member. That's really funny.
Exactly. In the beginning, sorry to interrupt you, we were like, okay, is this some crazy AI stuff? But then we said, okay, AIs actually only reproduce what they are fed with. So we said this system actually, it's more than an AI. We went for AB eventually, the artificial band member.
Oh, that's very interesting. That's really cool. I thought maybe you were just trying to substitute the I and the B, but that's a good reference. I like that. So where are you guys from? Are you in I know you mentioned you and Philip grew up together.
Exactly. We actually grew up on the countryside in Austria, and moved to Vienna a couple of years ago. And this is where we live now. This is where we make music now. This is where we play shows now. It's super nice to go back to the countryside. It's in the mountain regions of Austria, but we're based in Vienna, capital of Austria.
Wow, it must be really nice. I always hear good things about Austria.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say is that it's super nice to be connected to a metropolis like New York in this case.
Yeah, of course. Yep. Yeah, I'm in right now I'm in North Jersey, but
Right.
I've been in New York City since I was young, since I was like 4 years old.
Okay.
All the boroughs, things like that. It's a lot of fun.
And it is just a stone throw away from New Jersey, is it?
Yeah, I'm about 10 minutes from Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah.
And once you go through Lincoln Tunnel, you're right into the the start of New York City, the glamour, I like to call it.
I've been there 2 years, 3 years ago, actually, and it has always been kind of one of the cities of my dreams, because New York, it has such a high status in world culture, pop culture, that I always wanted to go there, and my expectations were extremely high.
Oh, that's awesome.
New York managed to even, it was even better than my expectations. There was this one moment where we took the ferry from, the south end of Manhattan to, what is it called? It's a passenger ferry. I don't remember.
It was either it could have been in Jersey. Maybe you took it to Jersey, or I'm sorry, I'm like
Staten Island.
Yes, where the Statue of Liberty is. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Then on the way back, you see Manhattan from the south perspective, and it was just so mind blowing. It wasn't a city anymore. It was kind of a massive something which you don't really know what it is. So many things to interpret into this, the skyline and everything, and then like two helicopters flew into like through the skyscrapers. It was just
Yes.
mind-blowing. Like it really is a jewel.
Yeah, I have to agree. I haven't been there in a few years because of everything that's been going on with COVID and everything. I heard it's changed a little bit. I just hope it's it gets back to where it was.
Yeah.
So a lot of your music videos I was watching before. I really like them. I think they're very creative, especially with the music and everything. The one I watched first was for Silver Lines. Where did the idea come from for that video?
It started on a train, actually. I was on the way to a place in the countryside, and I sat down in the, what is it called, the train bistro, like where you can grab a coffee. And I was sitting there looking out of the window, and there was this woman sitting in front of me. So we kind of, started chatting a little, and eventually exchanged numbers and then Instagram contacts. So it turns out she is a super interesting visual designer. And we just connected, and I offered her to kind of create a track based on one of her sculptures. So this is how it all started. And then she said, okay, I have this, she has a unique design, black and white, works a lot with is it geometrical?
Oh yes, geometric.
Geometrics, and her art is fascinating. Check it out. It's Esther Stocker, and she had a showroom in Vienna, and she said, why not do a video in there?
Oh wow.
So she eventually approached us saying also, let's have a look at the costumes together. Let's have a look at how the whole setting is. And yes, this is how the music video came into.
That's really cool. I like that one part, how it goes from like the color switches, like it's like almost like opposites, like black and white, and then opposite where you guys were. Very interesting. I like that. It's a really cool backstory. So I noticed on social media you guys just signed with Aztec Records. What is that like? What's the feeling like?
Well, it's super nice to sign a record contract. It's one of the big goals every musician has, I think. And we got in touch about half a year ago and exchanged a couple of signals. They were interested, we were interested. Then we negotiated, and then we signed the contract 2 weeks ago. And from then on, for me, the whole thing started to become even more exciting. We're shooting a music video next week. I'm super motivated about that. We have the whole, there's a whole system behind it. And I think this can give our music the push it needs at the moment. Being in touch with people connected in the music universe is probably for us the next logic step.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And you guys call your music dream pop, I believe, right?
It just fits perfectly with the name, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree. I like that a lot.
Sometimes we add euphoric dream pop. Some songs are synth pop. Some songs are pure pop.
Mm-hmm.
We try to kind of, hit different fields with different songs. It always depends on which input we receive from Lucy, and this is then the direction the songs eventually go in.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So you guys are on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud. I see you on Facebook, Bandcamp, iTunes, YouTube, and also TikTok. Am I missing anything else anywhere on social media?
I don't think so. I think you got it. You really got it all.
Okay, great. Just so everyone knows where to find your music, your videos, things like that.
Exactly. Mostly our handle is lucy.dreams.dp. The
Oh,
P
okay.
stands for David, which is me, and P for Phil, which is my dear colleague, which I'm creating the music with.
Awesome. That's really cool. So 2021, you also had Silver Lines, Dreamland, and you also came out with an EP, Everything Comes in Waves. What was the other music video you did besides Silver Lines? There was
So
another one.
there was Dreamlands, entirely based on incredible footage created by a visual designer in the UK. His name is Visual Dawn, and he has a super nice concept of providing, mind-blowing visuals on Creative Commons. Most of his works are Creative Commons. A couple of them you have to buy, but the whole thing made so much sense based on the track. So the track is called Dreamland. It's about kind of a refuge, a very personal and intimate refuge of myself. But it's outer space, something that I want to be in, something that I dream of. And there is in the visuals, in the videos of Visual Dawn, there is this one astronaut, and I ended up seeing myself so much in this astronaut. So I decided to give this astronaut a name. His name is Mr. Mirandola, and he's on a quest. He's on a journey. He tries to find the big truth in outer space, not knowing that he already carries himself into him, like in himself. So the very truth is not where you seek it, but you already carry it within yourself.
Wow, that's really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. I always like to hear the backstory with music videos, especially when there's a good story behind it. Like a lot of.
It's always nice to kind of communicate your own feelings, what you are, what you feel, what you think, across or via different means. In this case, music and visuals.
Yes.
For me, it's an outlet.
Yeah, I'm big with audio and visuals. It's always something I looked at, especially in electronic music. I think I don't know. I think electronic music in general kind of like opened up a lot of things with that, like music videos, ambient sounds, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always a nice combination, I should say.
and it goes together so well. If you think about music without the visuals, it's to have. But then with the visuals, it gets to a completely new level. Yes. And also vice versa. If you have a look at video footage, it's nice to have. But once you add a score, once you add music to it, it evolves to a completely new stage.
Yeah, exactly.
My opinion, a more exciting product.
That's great. So David, before we wrap up, are there any upcoming announcements you would like to talk about?
Well, yes, you've mentioned that we have signed with Aztec Records, and together with them, we're putting out a single in March, 25th of March. We'll be releasing a song called Experiencer, which will be a single of the upcoming album. And the album then will be released also via Aztec Records in April or May. We're not quite sure about the date yet, but before summer. It will be called Götterfunken. It's a German term. That's what I can reveal already. Götterfunken basically means the gods spark. And for us, it's the basis of the communication with our artificial band member, Lucy.
That's really cool. I can't wait to check that out. So, David, I have to thank you again for joining me today on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael.
I'll definitely
say hi to all the people watching this. It would be great to, see you, meet you in the virtual world, in the real world one day.